Before watching this lesson video, you need to make sure you watch the last one because we're going to be using the example from the last video to answer some questions about initial value and changing context. So first of all, let's give a definition of initial value. So this is a new term that we're seeing, and initial value just means it's where my problem starts. It's my beginning or my starting value. Okay, so let's see if we can find the initial value in this problem that we worked on in the last video. So remind yourself of the context. It says Courtney is collecting coins and she has 2 coins in her collection to start with and plans to add 4 coins each week. So this is the graph, the table, and the equation that we came up with for this context. And now we need to figure out what is the initial value of this context. Well, we can find the initial value in each one of these representations. So let me show you where we can find it. In the context, remember initial value means what we start with. And it says that Courtney starts with 2 coins in her collection. So looking at the context, I would find the initial value right here. On my graph, the initial value can be found where my line crosses the y-axis. So follow the y-axis down until you see where the line crosses it. It looks like it's right there. So this is where my line starts, or where it begins. So it begins at 2. So 2, once again, is the initial value. On my table, you can find the initial value if you look for the start of 0. So look at where x equals 0, because that's where we start at. We start at 0 and see what y equals. And notice that y is 2 when we start. And finally, you can see the initial value in the equation right here. Okay, it's what's being added to the number of coins that she adds each week. So however many coins she gets every single week, plus this 2 is the initial value. Okay, so that's how we can find the initial value in the 4 different representations. Finally, let's see what happens if we change the initial value. So it says, how would the graph change if Courtney started with 0 coins in her collection? So we're looking at the graph and we're wondering, how would this line change if she started with 0 coins? Well, that means the beginning point would be right here at the point 0, 0. So this represents 0 weeks. She has 0 coins. So her graph would shift down 1 unit, well, 2 units, right? And that means every single point would also shift down because we need to subtract 2 from every single point. And so it just means that her line would shift down the 2 coins that she lost. Okay, so go ahead and move on to your next lesson video. You're going to see another example like this, and then we'll answer some more questions about it and get some more practice with initial value.